Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever it is in your neck of the woods. I am T. Renee Smith, founder of the Authentic Woman's Inner Circle, where we teach you how to live free from clear, self-defeating thoughts so that you can live your authentic life, raise extraordinary kids, have a passion-filled marriage, and build a profitable business. Yes, that is a whole lot in a tongue twister, but that is what we really want to do. We want to have success in every area of our life. So welcome. Thank you so much for your commitment to join me every day for the next 21 days as we show up to change our inner game of success so that we can have outward success. Okay, so today is day number 6 of the 21-day challenge to live your authentic life. So I know that I'm excited over here, and I hope you're excited as well, because we are doing the work. We're putting in the time in order to see success in our lives. A lot of times we just focus on the external, or the results that we want in our life. We want more money, better relationships. We want our business to grow, whatever the case is. But oftentimes we don't understand the real reason why we're not experiencing success is because we're not changing our mindset. And what I always like to tell people is that if you want to see success externally, what you have to do is to go back and to start with your thoughts, because the thoughts that you have are going to determine the words that you speak. The words that you speak are going to determine the actions that you take. The actions that you take are going to determine the character that you build. The character that you build is ultimately going to determine your destiny or what you have in life. So when you want to change something in your life, regardless of what it is, if it's in your business, your marriage, your family, your career, or just even in your own personal life or self-care, we've got to go all the way back to your thoughts. Hey, Terry. Amen. Teach. Thank you, girl. So we've got to go all the way back to our thoughts. So really the first 7 days in this challenge is really digging deep to figure out what thoughts do you have that you need to change. And so as we get, towards the end of the challenge, it gets a little bit easier. But in the beginning, we start with the deep stuff because that is what's going to be our foundation. So, okay, guys, today is day number 6, and we're talking about shifting your perspective. Basically, when you change the way that you look at things, and I know you guys have heard this before, the things that you look at change. So let's just do a quick review of what we went over yesterday. So yesterday, day number 5, we talked about forgiveness. And we talked about forgiving yourself and forgiving others for things that have happened in your life, past disappointments, trauma that you received, or anything in your life where you're holding this toxic weight. So you have all this emotional baggage because you are not releasing it and you're not freeing yourself by forgiving. So the example that we gave yesterday is when you have a closed fist, and this is how your life is when you're walking in unforgiveness. Nothing can get in, nothing can get out. When you open up and you let things go and you release them, now things are free to flow in and out of your hand. So if you did not do your homework for day number 5, make sure that you go back and do it. And you can register to hear the teaching as well as the homework assignment at trenesmith.com/authentic. That is trenesmith.com/authentic. Every day, the assignments that we do build upon each other. So it's important that you do the daily assignments. All right, guys. So let's get right into day number 6, shifting your perception. When the way you look at things changes, when you look at things differently, okay, then that's when it changes. The situation may not change, but the way in which you look at it and the person that you are will change. So the one thing that happens when you're changing the way you look at a situation is you're reframing the words that you say, and you're reframing the way that you think about it. So I have about 6 or 7 words that I'm going to go over with you quickly today to help you to start reframing your thoughts. So the first word is fail. A lot of times we do not step out and do anything because we are afraid that we are going to fail. So one thing to realize is that when you fail, you are simply failing forward, which means that if you learn the lesson, if you understand now how to approach the situation differently, you didn't fail, you learned a lesson. So the way that you reframe the word fail is first attempt in learning. So if this is your first attempt in learning, great. Now you have more information when you try to do something the next time. So failure is a good thing. As long as you learn the lesson, failure is it's gonna happen to everybody. If you want to play a bigger game in your life, if you want to experience success, you are going to fail. I remember my first company that I started, I had to end up filing bankruptcy because I started with no credit, no plan, and I had to file bankruptcy. But you know what? I learned that lesson and I wasn't going to have to do that again. Okay? So failing is good. It's a part of success, but just reframe your words to first attempt in learning. The second word that we're going to reframe is fear. Everybody gets caught up in fear. They get stuck. They're right there on the ledge. And I know Steve Harvey is coming out with his book called Jump. And it's like, you're on the ledge. Go ahead and jump. Jump out there. See what's going to happen. If you make mistakes, learn from it and then go in a different direction. So fear, I have two different definitions for it. The first one is face everything and run. Okay, face everything and run. Or number two, false evidence appearing real. So face everything and run simply means that whenever you're doing something new, whenever you're trying something different, whenever you're getting out of your comfort zone, there is going to be this thing inside of you that may be afraid or that you may have a little fear. So I remember I used to always say that you can't have fear and you can't have faith and it can't operate together. But what I've understood and understand now in my more than 20 years of being a small business owner, that you're going to have fear if you're doing something different. But your faith has to be stronger than your fear, and you have to lean into fear and you have to do it afraid. Do it anyway. Okay, so if there's something that you know that you need to do, a bigger game that you need to play in your life, even if it's a relationship or your marriage, you could simply be in a marriage and have emotional walls up because of all the hurt and the pain that you've had in the past. You don't have trust, you don't want to become vulnerable, whatever the case is, lean into that fear and face everything and rise. The second definition is false evidence appearing real. Good morning, Lee. And what that simply means is that most of the time, what we're fearing, it will never, ever happen in our life. But we just go through all these things. What happens if this? And what happens if that? And what happens if this? And then we actually don't do anything. So one assignment that I do with my clients that I'm coaching is when you walk into fear, ask yourself 5 times why you are fearing. Why am I afraid? Why am I afraid? Why am I afraid? And by the time you get down to the 5th thing, you realize that what you really had fear about was nothing to worry about at all. So step into it. So that's the second word that we're fearing, which is the second word we're reframing, which is fear. The third word that we are reframing is no. A lot of people think of no as a bad word. They're like, I don't want to ask for a promotion or a bigger salary because they're going to say no. Well, I don't want to ask my husband or my wife to do this because they're going to say no. No simply means next opportunity. If you get no, find out how you can approach it differently or who you need to approach differently. So no just simply means next opportunity. So don't get afraid and don't get stuck when you hear the word no. Just move and you're going to say next opportunity. All right, let me get my notes. The next one that you're going to do is stuck. So a lot of times we get stuck in our life and what we really want to do is soar. So stuck, you want to reframe that to sometimes unique clarity knocks. Sometimes you need clarity knocks because when you're stuck, 9 times out of 10, it simply means that you are not clear, that you need to become clear and that you need to get a strategy. That's one of the biggest benefits about having a coach or having a teacher or having a mentor or having someone that has already done what you're trying to do, been there, and then they can help you say, hey, this is what you need to do. This is your next step. So when you're feeling stuck, that simply means that you need more clarity, more information, and a strategy. So don't get stuck, get clarity, get strategy. The next word that we're going to reframe is ego. And I love this because Wayne Dyer used to talk about it all the time, which is edging God out. When we get stuck in our ego, That is not a good thing because we're not thinking clearly. It's all about us and what we want and what we want to do. And when you get stuck in your ego, that is when you have to surrender to God or to your higher power and find out what is their will or what is their way for your life. I was talking to one of my clients, and she was going through something with her husband, and they were at a standstill, and she was in her masculine energy and he was in his masculine energy, and they were butting heads. And the reason why is because her ego was in the way. She didn't want to be wrong. She didn't want to back down. And because of that, it was like World War II in that house. So for those of you that are kind of stuck and you're not moving where you need to, check to see if you are stuck in your ego. And ego, again, is edging God out. If you are, surrender. Understand that it's not all about you, and find out what God would have you to do in that situation so you can move forward. The next word that you're going to reframe is criticism. Now, I know a lot of times we don't like when people criticize us. We may get a little insecure, or we may get defensive. And who do you think you talking to when you don't know me like that? And how you going to tell me about myself? Let's stop that. When somebody criticizes you or you receive criticism, the way that you want to reframe it is simply to say, calmly react inwardly to information challenging your insights and shift your mindset or shift your perspective. When somebody criticizes you, what you need to do is listen to the information. And then you've got to understand the person and understand where it is coming from. Is it coming from a place of where it's positive and the person has a great heart towards you and they just want to see you do better? And so that's why they're telling you things that you need to change or work on. If that is the case, listen to what they're saying. If it applies to you, make those necessary changes, because we have to be constantly growing and learning. Now, if the criticism is coming from somebody that's judging you or being jealous, or they don't understand your situation and it doesn't apply to you, okay, don't hold on to that. Just let that go. But if it is something that you need to change, humble yourself, make the adjustments, and then change it. So that's how we reframe the word criticism. The last two words that we're going to reframe, number one is risk. And the way that we reframe risk is relying on insight and seeking knowledge. What does that mean? Whenever you're doing something in your life and you're playing a bigger game, whether that's you wanting to lose weight, you wanting to pursue your purpose, whatever the case is, there are going to be risks. So what you want to do is to have calculated risk. So when you sit down and you plan your big goals, you know how at the end of the year we do, or the beginning of the year, we map out all of our goals and our big goals. The reason why some of us fail and never achieve those goals is because we really do not clearly calculate what's going to be the risk and what is involved in me reaching these goals. So when you sit down and you calculate the risk, then you're able to come up with a plan or come up with an action in order for you to be able to be successful and still move forward regardless of the risk. Okay? And then the last word that we're going to reframe is going to be adversity. And the way that we're going to reframe adversity is simply acknowledging difficulties, valuing experiences, responding smartly, and innately trusting yourself. A lot of times people run from adversity, but there is never going to be growth without adversity. When everything is nice and happy and fine, life just kind of sails along. But when we go through adversity, when we go through trials, that's most of the time when our biggest growth happens and when our biggest learning happens. So do not run from adversity. Embrace it, lean into it, learn the lesson that you have. All right, guys. So I know that was a lot to give to you and it was power packed, but I wanted to make sure that you had the tools that you needed in order to start reframing the way that you see situations. Because when you reframe and change the way you see situations, then the situations are going to change. So make sure that you go back and that you listen to day number 6 so that you can reframe the way that you think. Now, let's talk about our homework assignment or our action assignment, because it's one thing to hear the information. It's another thing to actually apply it in your life, because you don't receive the results when you hear it. You receive the results when you apply it consistently, day in and day out. So your homework assignment for today is going to be to sit down and to look at your life and understand what situations do you need to reframe. And the way that you do this is look at what you're pouring into your life. Okay? What are you watching on TV? What are you listening to? What are you reading on the internet? So what's going into your eyes? What's going into your ears? And what's coming out of your mouth? What are you saying? So are you saying positive things over your mouth? Are you watching positive stuff? Are you listening to a bunch of gossip? Or are you listening to stuff that's going to build you up? So one thing that I want you to remember, and one key nugget to take from today's lesson, is junk in, junk out. So whatever you put into your body, that is what's going to come out. If you're just putting in a bunch of reality TVs, a bunch of gossip shows, a bunch of complaining, a bunch of negative self-talk, that's what's going to come out. If you're putting in motivational and inspirational stuff, if you're learning new skills and new techniques, if you're saying affirmations over your life daily, if you're speaking positively over your life, then that's what's going to come out. So remember, junk in, junk out. So your homework assignment is to evaluate what you're watching, what you're hearing, what you're saying, because those are the results that you're having in your life. And if you don't like the results that you're having in your life, your business, your career, your marriage, your relationship with your kids, then you've got to change what you're putting in. Woo! We finished it. Day number 6, guys, of 21 days to live your authentic life. If you're not a part of the challenge, make sure that you register at trenesmith.com/authentic, trenesmith.com/authentic, and you will have these teachings delivered daily into your email for the next 21 days. So I always like to leave on a positive note, and this is so true for you, for me. When you woke up this morning, that meant that God gave you another day to walk in your purpose. You have to remember that you are the answer to somebody's prayer. That when you walk in your purpose, it gives somebody else the permission to walk in their purpose. So regardless of what has happened to you in life, regardless of what your current situations are, or what anybody has told you, you are destined for greatness. It takes one mindset shift to set you on a new path. So as we go through these next 21 days, love on yourself and remember that you're great. Remember that you're destined for greatness and that you are a winner. I'll see you back tomorrow right here for day number 7. And I hope that you have an amazing day filled with peace, filled with purpose and prosperity. Again, I'm T. Renee Smith, founder of the Authentic Woman's Inner Circle, where we teach you how to live free and clear from fear, from self-defeating beliefs, so you can live your authentic life full of purpose, so you can raise extraordinary kids, create that passion back in your marriage, all while building a profitable business. If I can serve you by coaching, please just reach out to me, and I'd love to be there to serve you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.